everybody. Welcome to Barnum and Bailey's Three-Ring Circus. I'm here with my partner Barnum, and I'm Bailey.
Barnum and Bailey.
And
or
we got
you're Bailey and I'm Barnum.
I could be Barnum. You want to be Barnum or Bailey?
I want to be
Well, let me ask you
Bobby's
this. If it
girl.
was Barnum
I
and
wanna
Bailey,
be Bobby's girl.
if it was Barnum and Bailey, why the hell is it a Three-Ring Circus? Wouldn't it have to be Barnum, Bailey, and
No,
Bobby?
because they have three big tents, three-ring circus. There's three different main areas for the circus.
So like the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and the OTC.
No, not
The
like that at all.
TSX
No, I wouldn't
Venture, the
say like that at all.
TSX, and the CSE.
No, it'd be more like you go to a
Those are
department.
Cirque.
You go to a department store, and they say, "What department are you looking for?"
Yeah.
And you say, "I'm looking for the trapeze." Well, that's one ring. And then you want to say, "I want to see the elephants." That's the second ring.
Huh.
Third ring, the bearded lady. How about that?
The bearded lady. Wow.
Okay.
Hell of a show today, Edward.
Yeah.
Hell of a show.
Got lots
1 hour of pure cannabis bliss.
I got lots of favorable comments on our little
skit.
trimming episode.
Little trimming episode.
Yeah.
We'll have to grow some more.
Yeah.
Actually, I have 4 seedlings of AC/DC that are well advanced.
AC/DC.
It's AC/DC. It's supposed to be up to 20% CBD with a very low ratio of THC. Basically, adult marijuana.
Okay.
So I'm going to make some. CBD extracts for my mama, because my mama, she got arthritis and she don't like it. And the stuff the doctor give her, it don't work.
What language you talking now?
I'm talking CBD. You see?
CBD.
Now you do. Today on the show at 3:05, we're going to have the fabulous and soon to be returning to law school news nurse. Well, actually, she's the news lawyer, if you really want to know. News attorney professor. News student articling attorney professor. Suzanne Garcia is going to be here at the news at 3:05. That's in 2 minutes. And then at 3:07, James and Ed will be here. That's exciting. Charting man Dan joins us. Dan McDermott from the Chart Guys. He's just moved into his new house. We're going to talk about
Did he make the money from the new house by trading the market?
Well, I didn't ask him that, actually.
That's a good question.
Well, I would think that's what he made it from, because he doesn't do anything else.
He doesn't, eh?
No, he's told me he's getting goats, chickens, and pigs.
Did he buy a farm?
He bought the farm. Anyways, that's Charting Man Dan at 3:20. And then at 3:40, Lee Hughes is going to be here. He's the CEO of Next Green Wave Holdings. These are some guys who have operations in California. He says he's on track for $30 million in revenue this year. And the stock's trading at a market cap of like $45 million.
Really?
Yeah! Might be a buy.
You know what?
What?
The banter never stops here at this show.
No.
We got lots of banter.
This is the banter. This is the banter
Suave,
beginning.
Suave banter.
Suave banter. Sophisticated wit and repartee. We
You notice anything different about the set today? Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
The idea is that
different.
we want you to
That jacket's different.
hit the bell. The jacket's different.
That's a nice jacket.
That is a nice jacket. Thank you.
Is that hunter green? No, I don't think so.
No, this is Etro.
This is, Etro's high end.
Well, it's
Yeah?
it's better than a J.C. Penney, but it ain't no Brioni. Put it that way.
It ain't no Brioni.
It ain't no Brioni. So now being 3:05, we're going to let the fabulous news nurse, Suzanne Garcia, who's soon returning to school, so get your fill of her now, because she won't be here in September anymore. Anyways, here she is with the news.
And here's what's making headlines today. Radiant Technologies has released its financial results for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2019. Radiant reported a net and comprehensive loss for the year of $27.9 million, or a basic and diluted loss per common share of 11 cents. As of March 31st, the company's cash balance totaled 31.75 million Canadian dollars, representing an increase of $9.9 million from the previous year. Organogram has developed a proprietary nano-emulsification technology that will allow for the production of both liquid and powdered cannabinoid products. The proprietary non-emulsion technology was developed in anticipation of the legalization of adult-use recreational cannabis edibles in Canada, as well as consumer demand for cannabis-infused beverages. Organogram is actively seeking an experienced beverage partner for global product development. Flower One Holdings announced a long-term licensing agreement with La Vida Verde. LVV is a Californian-based, health-focused cannabis brand utilizing vegan, organic, gluten-free, and paleo-friendly ingredients to produce cannabis edibles and tinctures. With the addition of LVV to its portfolio of brand partners, Flower One further diversifies the cannabis offerings made available to Nevada's cannabis retailers and consumers. This marks LVV's first out-of-state expansion and entrance into Nevada. Valens Growworks announced that further to its press release dated June 17, 2019, the company has been accepted for listing on the TSX Venture Exchange as a Tier 1 issuer. The common shares will commence trading on July 10, 2019 on the TSXV under the symbol VGW, and the warrants will trade under the symbol VGWWTA on the same day. Planet 13 announced that it served an average of 2,011 customers per day in June at an average ticket of $88.87 from the Planet 13 Las Vegas Cannabis Entertainment Complex. Green Thumb Industries announced it will open its 4th retail location in Florida. GTI will open the community's first cannabis store on July 9, 2019. This will be the company's 26th open location in the country, and that's your news for today.
Hey, and so we were talking about shorting Martello Technologies yesterday, Ed.
Yeah.
And today you couldn't take it, you ran out and shorted it.
I had to short it based on just the big move. And I mean, you look, it's just a trade. This is not.
So tell us, how did it work out?
Well,
for
it worked out.
First of all, what price did you put your? What price
I got
did you
it off at 84. Sold it at 84.
You sold it at 84, and what price did you buy it back at?
69.
69. So you made yourself
15 cents.
15 cents.
I only did one share, so I made 15 cents exactly.
I was going to say the trade probably costs a little bit more than that.
No, I know. So that was a good trade.
It looks like I'm looking at the one-day chart now on my on my machine here, and it's like you shorted it. Basically, when you shorted it, it decided to plummet.
You know what?
And it hasn't gone back. Somebody keeps chipping away at it, though. Somebody's trying to support it down there.
It's you know what? When something moves from 20 cents to $1 in basically 6 days with no real change in. Now there is a change because Bruce said he was going to spend more time on.
I don't think he said anything like that.
No, he said it on
t-shirt.
CNN.
Okay.
He did say it on CNN.
So here's the most recent press release from Martello. Martello partners with Surya to power network performance in Malaysia. In case you're wondering, that is not a meaningful press release in terms of revenue, at least not enough to justify a run from 22 cents to $1. So also, if we look at their most recent financials, and I'm just trying to explain why we said it was a short. We have to punch in the, thanks to our primitive stock, our CDR. So they did $3 million in sales in the 9 months ending December 31st. Their expenses were $2.9 million, but their operating expenses were higher. So they lost $1.3 million in 9 months. So
not a lot of loss for a startup. At least there's some revenue, but it's still
it's not no reason for a stock to go from 20 cents to $1.
Exactly.
Nor is a T-shirt. So that's why we said it was a short. And today, here we are, vindicated. You could have made 30 points on your money easily.
Well, you did get as low as 59 after getting to $1.
Well, but who's going to sell at the high and short at the low?
Nobody.
Cover at the low. Nobody.
Exactly. Not even me.
So, so that was a good trade, Ed. Made yourself a quick couple of G's in what, 20 minutes, half an hour?
A couple $100,000 here and there, Did I say a couple $100,000?
Oh, geez, a couple hundred cents?
Just a couple hundred.
A couple $100. So also continued fallout from the CanTrust debacle. Some people wondering why heads aren't rolling there, and maybe it's not too.
Maybe they won't have to wonder too much longer. I don't know.
Maybe that's right.
Let's take a look at what the trustee's doing.
Yeah, tell me. What does the trustee truster say?
Well, now we've bounced. Okay, here I'm going to put up a. Let's put up a 1 month chart. So we can. It's NDI activated there in the control room.
There we go. You're up.
Well, look. So there we go. Yeah, this basically says the stock was, biding, really not doing much for a month, eh?
What's that?
Look at it. That's pretty small range, right?
Yeah.
Now we broke down on the news the bad compliance issue, and now we've moved up a little bit here, but. I really wouldn't know what to do here.
So the question is, at what point does this become a buy? It looks like you might want to start buying it now because
maybe
we know the company's not worth zero, and if the sell-off is an attempt to get in front of the 11,500 kilograms, that's not going to be part of the next inventory reporting because it has to be. Although I'll bet you they can report it as inventory, even though it's being held. Are they going to destroy that weed or what?
Maybe can they do some work on it now? Can we go from non-compliant weed to compliant weed by just looking at it?
We should go steal that weed.
Well, we should. You know what? There's some good weed on the market
tonight?
For the black market. Let's get in that.
Yeah, the black market needs more weed, and
Let's
this is
just
growing
say you guys
indoors.
got to throw it away. Why don't we just buy it off you?
We'll take it off your hands.
A penny on the dollar.
Penny on the dollar. That's not worth it.
Penny? No, we'll buy it off them for a penny on the dollar.
I think we should say I don't know. No, we can't buy it off them.
Okay.
Nobody's getting that weed.
Anyway,
that weed's going up in smoke.
This stock doesn't. In fact, I'm going to put up a big chart here. I want to see what. Okay, two-year chart. Look at this. Oh my goodness, this is alarming, folks. I got to be honest with you. Only from a technical perspective, not commenting on anything. We had a bottom there, bottom there, bottom there, bottom there, and we broke that bottom there. So. This stock, I would think it's going to have trouble getting back above $7 for a while. Mm-hmm. That's how I would read that. Now, if it goes back above 7, then you got to look at it a little differently.
Yeah. Big shout out to our sponsor today, Halo Labs at halocanada.com. California owns 20% of the wholesale market for extract products in California, as well as sells extracts and growth cannabis in Oregon. So vertically integrated multi-state operator who is now expanding into Lesotho as well. We thank them for their sponsorship. They are smart and wonderful people. So go visit their website. What else is going on today? Well, Charting Man Dan's here in 6 minutes. Thursday, big day, Edward.
Yeah,
Thursday,
we're road trip.
We're going on a road trip.
We're
going road tripping.
Should I?
We're taking it on the road.
Should I pack a picnic basket?
You should pack your valise. Your valise needs to be packed. So we're going to set up our show in the backyard of Mr. Bruce Linton, who has been a long-term friend of ours and is now accepting applications. No, I don't know what he's doing. He's enjoying his summer.
Well, we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out exactly what he's doing.
So why try and guess now?
Well, because that's half the fun. What's he gonna do next? Everybody wants to know. We're gonna tell you.
Are we guesting or guessing?
We're guest-hosting.
Yes, guest-hosting.
Guest-hosting.
Okay.
Anyways, that's tomorrow. So big news today. Ross Perot, the Texas billionaire who twice ran for president, died.
As an independent.
Dead at age 89. What do you remember most about Ross Perot?
Well, the fact that he was probably a very disciplined guy, and probably extremely smart. I mean,
wow,
self-made billionaire.
What a generous soul you are. You remember the good in people at the worst of times.
Well,
I remember he was short and had big ears. That's all I remember. But boy, those ears could come in useful for something.
Yeah.
Boy.
You think if they got caught in a windstorm and they started to do this, he'd get a little lift?
Then he'd be Dumbo. Trump. Says he's not going to do business anymore with the UK ambassador who called the United States administration inept.
Uh-oh.
That's quite funny.
No, really? He's not going to do business with the UK anymore?
No.
Jesus.
No, he's out. That's it. The UK is off the list. Mind you, Trump's, a little bit inconsistent with his representations. Not exactly.
Sometimes he means it, sometimes he doesn't.
Well, sometimes he says the same thing at the same time several times in a row, and other times he contradicts himself within minutes, and quite frequently, actually, within the same sentence. That's Donald Trump. Must be embarrassing to be an American right now, wouldn't you think? I'd be embarrassed.
You know what?
That's my president. I had nothing to do with it.
But whenever you say, like, for instance, because it's so polarized, you'd say it's embarrassed for the people that can't stand him. But the people that like him, they say, give it to him.
And that's even more embarrassing.
I know, but there is that group that no matter what he says,
the gospel,
they love him.
He may as well walk on water.
I don't think there's ever been a time when most first world countries have been so polarized.
Really?
Like, it's always about the show, right?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who the next Prime Minister candidate is, I think.
Well,
is Trudeau
Justin
going to
Trudeau
run? Is he going to run?
Well, if he doesn't get arrested first. I mean, but, our RCMP are obviously compromised and not really investigating his attempt to subordinate the rule of law in Canada to private corporate interests. However, we will have lots of coverage on that the closer we get to Election Day, because we don't want anybody to forget that our Prime Minister is trying to pull a fast one on all us Canadians. Not that there's any better selection from any of the other parties at this point. Would you agree, Ed? Like Ed Sheeran, it's like he's just... He's just got nothing to say.
And again, I hate to say it this way because I don't want to make the association that all political leaders are despots, but if there's a book out there that I bought years ago, and it said the greatest despots in the world, the people that were the worst, usually ran countries. Like you look at Stalin.
Well, it's hard to be a bad despot if you don't have a country to run.
Well, how can you?
I think that's a prerequisite of being a despot. Is that you have to be a leader of a country.
When Ceausescu and the Romanian guy who they got rid of, they put him in front of a fire squad. The soldiers drew lots to see who would get to gun down the leader and his wife.
That's barbaric.
I know, but that happened. That didn't happen that long ago. Maybe 20, 30 years ago.
That's entertaining, but barbaric is all hell.
I know, it's insanity. Anyway, I digress.
So our friend Nika Domi is saying that we should be paying attention to HEXO making a move. Why don't you pull up that chart?
There you go.
There's a chart for
Thank you for that, young lady.
She's maneuvering to take your position now.
Oh, now see how it works.
Co-host. See, that's all she's got to do. I'll be writing in. You missed that one.
I'll be in about 2 weeks. I'll be writing in. Here, take a look at this one. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be watching in the audience. Okay. Well, look at your pictures covering that up.
80. What? Okay.
The picture needs to move off a bit.
Yeah, let's move the picture. Let's move the picture in picture.
Picture in picture. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, it's moving sideways. Well, zoom in on that little time frame.
So there's a trend there. There's no question a trend.
Boy, you're going back so far.
Okay. Let's take a look here. Sorry. You got to really be moving around these parts. This is a 1 month. Well, that looks constructive. I got to be.
Well, that's making a move, all right.
Let's see. Let's take a look at this. I like this here.
Okay, you look over there. Let's go see if there's any news releases to justify such a move. I'm going to punch it in over here.
Bit of a bottom here, and I mean they're the big boys in Quebec, aren't they?
They are. Yes, they are from Quebec, and that's.
I'd like to see. I mean, look, we start getting over 7 here. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Potstock news is not really news. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they put up all this promotional bullshit on. Okay, so the last real news release, there is no news release. It's just a bunch of promotional bullshit from a bunch of fake news companies. HEXO, yeah, so it's up 21 cents, up 3.17% on the day, but not on any news. So what does that tell you? Something's brewing in the background.
It's moved from about 650 to 680 here in the last week. So that's contra trend, right? Most of the pot stocks that I'm looking at are sort of drifting.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting in any event. News on High Hampton.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No. Oh, yeah. No. Mojave Jane is now called.
Well, that plus I think they said something today. They're doing some deal.
They are. We'll talk about that in a bit. But first, here's charting man Dan McDermott from thechartguys.com. I'm joined now by charting man Dan from thechartguys.com. Dan, welcome back.
Good to see you. Glad to be back.
Yeah, great to see you too. Now, Dan, the cannabis market has been characterized by what we might classify as shenanigans lately. CanTrust has now been found to be producing cannabis in part of its facility that was not duly and properly licensed. We saw Bruce Linton leave Canopy Growth under terms other than his own, one might say. And so there's this dark clouds gathered here over the cannabis space, and certainly the summer doldrums aren't having that. Tell me about what you see in the market.
Yeah, we've got a lull without a whole lot in terms of catalysts for good news. So anytime there's any kind of bearish news, it gets latched on and it just magnifies the fear narrative that's continuing to drive things at this point in time. So those two things right back to back are definitely not helping. And the fact that, CanTrust is now down, 22% yesterday, another 6 or 7% today. It just adds fear and uncertainty into a market that's already, or I should say a sector that already has uncertainty around it due to legality and as far as the U.S. goes, but just uncertainty, and it just highlights and says, well, your stock could drop 20% overnight, and it increases fear. So we have to wait for that emotional cycle to run through again, wait till we get back to some reasons for euphoria, and until that happens, it is really a bear's market at this point.
You bet. One of our guys here at the office made an interesting point. At what point does CanTrust become a buy again?
I have been flipping it. I love oversold bounces, so I bought it pre-market yesterday at $6.99 or whatever it was off the top of my head. I'm forgetting the actual number, but something 99. And I flipped it and sold it for just a few percent and going to look to do the same. So eventually what I try to do is put myself in a position where I make an entry, I sell half of it for a 2-3% bounce, and then I put my stop loss at break even, and that allows me some wiggle room. And once the actual bounce takes place, we will get, some decent follow through. A lot of people are comparing it to, APHA, and are we going to get a bounce that Afria got when we had that fiasco? And it's not the same thing psychologically, in the sense that we had a bearish hit piece on Afria, and there was a lot of discussion and a lot of uncertainty. How true is this? Are these facts? And there was an unknown and an uncertainty, whereas in this instance, it's known and certain. The company has come out and, talked about it, and that difference alone makes the bounce less significant, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And now Canopy Growth, we saw, the day Bruce was terminated, that it sort of put on a what we'll call a brave face and rallied higher, but since has started to sell off. Do you think that the sell-off in Canopy is something that investors should entrench for, and it might continue to much lower levels? Or do you think that this is just weakness based on the uncertainty created by his termination?
This isn't only based on that. The daily chart has been clearly forming lower highs for 6-8 weeks at this point, and as long as that's the case, we're in a bearish downtrend of lower highs and lower lows. So while it certainly didn't help the bulls at all, and it brought us right back down to support, this isn't the reason we're seeing weakness in CGC. It was already there, and this is only magnifying it. But one point to note, as we're seeing with MTLO, which is Bruce's former company, which is running 400, 500%, Bruce has given some positive comments on the U.S. sector, and now this is something that I'm paying attention to. And a lot of traders, if there's any individual USMJ company that has Bruce attached to it in any way, that's an instant all in and ride that wave up for some quick gains.
Sure, you bet. So with the Martello Technologies, the MTLO, do you think that the stock, the market cap has essentially almost quadrupled since Bruce made some comments wearing that T-shirt. Do you think that that's sustainable in Martello, or is Martello now a bit of a short candidate?
I certainly would not be entering at this point, but I was also saying that down at 60, 50 cents. So I'm baffled as to the longevity that the move has had. You know, a short squeeze and a little pop for 3 days, certainly understandable, but to see this continued movement through the weekend and into the following week, which is this week, very surprising. So I think a lot of people are just hoping that he has an extra time now to put into the company, and that, you know, perhaps he's going to continue to grow it out there. But short play was fairly easy today off of the $1 psychological level, and we hit $1 and pulled real quick back to 88 cents. So that alone is a very solid trade. But I myself, I'm not touching it with the 10-foot pole.
Right. All right, great, Dan. Well, let's take a look at some of your charts now.
So to go over some of those charts that we were just discussing, CGC, we can see this big green candle was the gap down day for the bearish news about Bruce being fired. But before that, we can see the bulls were still struggling. We had an attempt at a daily trend change where we have our low, our high of the bounce, higher low, and we failed the higher high here. We pretty much set the double top and then dropped down to support again. So we continue to see this lower high pattern where every single bounce attempt is just giving us a lower high. Most recently, 41.07 is the most important resistance for me because that was our new, most recent lower high. That being said, the bulls are definitely trying to hold this support zone in the $38 range on CGC. We can see this now marks the fourth time we have bounced in the low $38 range. All that shows me is that the bulls are playing defense. I have to see that the bulls are going on offense for it to mean anything. And to do that, we have to break the lower high pattern. And I anticipate that we'll likely see just another lower high on this bounce under 41.07 as this daily chart continues to tighten into next week. So here's MTLO, the company associated with Bruce. And we can see the huge move up where we've run pretty much 400+%. And what I'm looking for now is a volume climax. And we can see the volume is continually climbing. And oftentimes a volume climax signals the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. The reason is that's when we get the final push, the most amount of bull volume matched by the most amount of bear volume, pushing the price back down, not only with profit taking, but also shorts entering bearish. That's why we have a big volume spike when we see turnarounds. And we're currently in a scenario where we have a tightening range forming, and this little equilibrium is either going to break bearish by the end of the day and convincingly tell us our temporary top is set, and a bear break right now would be 90 cents, or it's going to break bullish into the end of the day over 96 and have us looking back up at that $1 psychological resistance level. So that's going to pretty much tell us whether our temporary top has very likely been set or not, and we'll see where that stands probably by the time this airs. TRST, so the bearish reaction to the bad news. And let's pull up, I've been charting CTST because it has extended hours trading, which is relevant when there's news like this. So we have our second gap down open in a row, and the bulls are still struggling. We have a weak bounce attempt on the hourly. This looks like an hourly bear flag, which could lead to lower lows. Essentially what we're going to be watching for with a weak close, we'll look for our third gap down open in a row. And a 3 gap down pattern is a bullish reversal pattern, which essentially tells us that the bears have overextended themselves to the downside. We've seen the last of the sellers exit, and all that's left is buyers. So if we get that third gap down open tomorrow, I personally will be looking to enter some positions. Again, like I said, for that bounce, where I will exit partial position at small profit, and then try and set my stop loss around break even and let the trade and bounce try and play out a little bit longer. Once we do hit a bottom, there should be a very easy 10 to 15% bounce, but there's no indication that that bottom has been hit just yet.
Thank you very much for joining me again, Dan. As usual, a pleasure.
Absolutely. See you next time.
You bet. If you like the show, you'll love our website. Visit us at www.midasletter.com for interviews with key CEOs, cannabis news, and to subscribe to our newsletter. It was at 3:40. Yeah, so there you go. We had that conversation with Dan just before the Martello broke down and you shorted it. So that's why that looks a little bit off, but obviously right.
Well, I mean, there's lots happened there, and see the trust went by at 480. That might be a bottom, short-term bottom.
You think so?
Well, if it was, I wouldn't look for more than 10%. 10%. But if you were a good trader and you could make 10% on something like that, you could probably throw in a $200,000 or $300,000, make 20 or 30 grand.
Can you believe this thing opened at $15 a share back in November?
Yeah.
October 2018. And here it is.
I know.
8 months later.
It's a third.
And it's a third.
I know.
Look at that.
I know.
$15.
I know.
Now trading at, well.
But I think if you go back, put up a 3-year chart.
Oh, 3-year chart.
I want to, But look at that. There's definitely some damage there.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely the breaking of all resistance for sure.
Yeah.
Lower highs, as Dan said.
And then
this is
that
this
upward
is
trend.
This is definitely a breakdown here. But yeah. So TRST, maybe the bloodshed's not over. Let's take a look at some of the other indexes right now. They're all pretty much down, except the large cap has turned green today, which is interesting. Let's try to figure out what.
Weed's probably up.
Weed's probably up. Weed is up 1 penny.
Wow. See?
Yeah. 0.02%, 51.65. So, but again, not really meaningful. Lower highs. Aurora Cannabis now well below $10, trading at $9.65. So that's started to conform to the pattern of the broader market now, trading downward. Kronos Group is back above $20, kind of bucking the trend there, up 78 cents on the day.
That's a nice move.
Yeah. Wonder what happened there. Let's see, is there a news release today? Kronos Group announces Dr. Todd Abram as Chief Innovation Officer. Okay, and the second quarter earnings call will be, when is that? Oh, August 8th. Okay, so that's still a ways off. But yeah, but look at the, here's what's really interesting is if we look at the CSE index is down a whopping 5.52%, which is, that's a pretty serious move downward. The venture index is down 3%, and the Midas Letter small cap index is down 3.5%. So let's go see who's leading the small caps lower. Green Organic Dutchman made a move to the upside now later in the day. It started trading lower, but up 5 cents. Let's see who's trading. Who's the worst of all these? Heritage Cannabis Holdings added 3 cents, up 6% today. TGIF added 2 cents, up 3.5%. FSD Pharma, huge, up a penny to 15 cents. Harvest Health and Recreation, up a solid 26 cents to 8.06. That's a 3.3%
Huge is at 15 cents?
Yeah. Canex Capital is back up to $1.34. This is a stock you could have bought at 80 cents not so long ago. Medmen Enterprises also recovering. We're starting to see some recovery in here among the more
the better,
larger cap companies.
Larger cap, maybe better balance sheets, better management, operational.
Balance Grow, it's holding steady in the $4 range. Charlotte's Web, $21.78, down 28 cents. Still trading within a range. Let's take a look at Charlotte's Web here, because that's one that I keep expecting to break out based on their increasing sales of CBD products. They did $80 million last quarter. That's quite impressive. Quite impressive. But yeah, so still in the throes of the summer doldrums, Edward.
Well, let's see here. What's the date today?
Today is July the 9th.
And when does usually summer happen over here in Toronto?
Started on June 21st.
And when is it in?
Well, arguably September 20th.
So we're in the summer doldrums. It's confirmed.
Good point. It's confirmed.
We've done a scientific
analysis.
Yeah, this is what they call the scientific method.
In depth. Using the latest technology, Edward and James have arrived at the fact that today is indeed July the 9th, and we are, in fact, in the summer doldrums. Now, does that mean mining's catching a break anytime soon?
So somebody tweeted me just now that
tweeted you.
That tweeted me, or
I thought I heard a little bird.
WhatsApped me.
WhatsApped you.
WhatsApped me.
Okay.
And basically, they're saying that there's another explosion in the housing market right around the corner, and that this will be very good for
Explosion? You mean like houses blowing up?
No, prices moving higher. There's no product.
No.
People want to buy houses in North America because you know why?
Why? They need a place to live?
They need a place to live. And it's
Really?
the cleanest dirty shirt.
Oh, interesting.
Look at this. Weed MD now is down 22 cents. Or not Weed MD, Weed.
Weed.
That was just up a penny.
That's Canopy.
Yeah, it was just up a penny.
Well, it's a pretty volatile stock. They heard us talking poorly about it, and next thing you know, the shorts are back. The shorts have got their shorts on.
So who's the new CEO
of
They're looking. Oh, they made a temporary.
Well, yeah. So Mark Zakulin, who was the co-CEO, is now the sole CEO. But Mike Lee is there from Constellation Brands as CFO. And arguably he's driving the bus from the back. But no, I think that there's probably going to be. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Richard Sands step in as CEO. So he stepped down from Constellation Brands a few months ago, ostensibly to focus on their cannabis investment.
Really?
I think that.
Okay.
I think you won't hear of anybody joining the company till a little later in the summer because nobody wants to work this summer.
Including me, I got to go. So, yeah, don't you get the sense too that people just, I got guys calling me all the time, hey, look at this deal, look at this deal. I think it's getting tougher to raise money. What do you think?
Well, I think that the market is becoming a lot more selective. It's no longer a case where, hey, I've got a license and I've got 1 million square feet of grow and we're going into business. That's not attractive to financing or the institutional financiers anymore, nor is it attractive to the retail financiers anymore. So I think there's real selective financing going on. I think that the multi-state operators who can demonstrate momentum in actually getting licenses in multiple states and having a retail presence as well as a ability to grow vertically integrated, I think those are still getting financed. And I think that the pure pharma deals are starting to see more attention. Companies that are not planning to grow marijuana but are focusing on a portfolio of proprietary technology, IP, as well as brands. And there's a few of those around.
Now, IP, UP, we all pee.
Boy, that's a new one, Ed. I've never heard that one here on the show before. IP, yeah. So IP plays, intellectual property plays, and there's a few of those coming. In fact, we're involved with a couple that we'll be talking about, obviously, as soon as we can sell the stock. No, just kidding. I crack myself up.
Yeah.
But, there's lots of, anybody comes out with news, like take JWC, for example. They just came out and announced that they're going to have some oils available, and that promptly took the stock down a few pennies. I mean, this is just the market we're in. News item, a value catalyst is nothing more than a lightning rod for selling activity. There's a lot of investor fatigue in the space, and don't forget, it's summer. People like to generate capital in the summer and spend it. That's what they do. That's what you do, isn't it, Ed?
I don't know what I do anymore.
You don't know what you're doing?
No.
Really?
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
I caught on to that trimming pretty quick, didn't I?
You caught on to the fact that, hey, if I just sit down here, I can't trim, and that's good enough for me. Yeah, not bad.
I was trying to decide which one to trim next, and I couldn't come to any conclusion.
So many choices, so little time.
Wow.
Did you hear about the case of the socialite who sterilized her daughter?
No.
All right, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I had a conversation with Mr. Lee Courier from New Green. Oh my gosh, now I can't even remember. Where is it? Lee Hughes is the CEO of Next Green Wave Holdings. Hello. Lee Hughes joins me now. He's the CEO and Executive Chairman of Next Green Wave Holdings, trading on the CSE under the symbol NGW. Lee, welcome.
Thank you.
Lee, you're a California-based extractor and consumer packaged goods producer. Yep. From all I've seen, you've got a bit of a premium angle on almost every aspect of that business. Give me an overview of how the company operates in the California market.
Sure. So we're fully vertically integrated is the phrase that everyone likes to use on the medical and the rec side, meaning that we have every license from seed to consumer. But of course, our value proposition, as I've explained to you before, is to run that sort of Procter & Gamble or Unilever model when it comes to consumer packaged goods. We want to be the Adidas or the Nike when someone thinks of buying a shoe in cannabis. We've got 8 of those brands with 45 different product SKUs across those 8 brands. So we're trying to really capture the different cultures that exist in cannabis in California, which has obviously been ingrained over a very long time.
Right.
And of course, all of those brands are aligned with, premium influencers that we like to call them.
Sure.
And we think it's very important because we believe that premium end of the marketplace in California is a really big market, big piece of the triangle.
Right.
And we've got to also be able to control everything from that nursery environment right all the way through to extraction and manufacturing, which we believe we've got the right model for.
Sure. So how much cannabis will you be able to produce? How are you going to divide that up into your different products?
Yeah, interesting. So our first facility, which is a 35,000 square foot indoor facility, we'll start harvesting in August actually. So we're just around the corner from that. We've built that from scratch. We put $12 million into that building over an 18-month period of building it, which is important. So we've been waiting a long time. We'll put out about 8,000 pounds of premium flower out of that building. We have a footprint in Coalinga, which enables us to actually grow 10 times that capacity if we choose to on our own. But because we don't have a fragmented licensing structure, we have all the licenses, we can actually toll for other cultivators out there that may not have an extraction license in our extraction facility, which is a purpose-built 3,240 square foot building. We see that as a really good opportunity for us to give upside to our products because we believe that we're not going to have enough product to sell. It's not a bad problem to have.
You mentioned that you were anticipating selling your cannabis at a great premium relative to what the average cost is on a wholesale basis in California. Yeah. How do you defend that position? Yeah.
Well, so I think, a lot of people probably just don't understand the California market as it stands right now. Yes, the black market equates for a lot of the product that they say is out there. We believe a lot crosses the state border though. All you need to do is go into a dispensary. Go into the dispensary and have a look at the premium flower or the flower section. A lot of the time you go in there, there's empty jars. And so there is a pressure on that dispensary model when it comes to putting in high quality flower. Of course, the price points will probably ebb and flow as people start to work out cultivating and making sure that they're aligned with the right regulatory framework that says you've got to be testing at these levels. That's going to happen.
Sure.
But right now we believe that there's still a big opportunity to really put pressure on that ceiling end of the price points. And
you've got a big emphasis on genetics and particularly plant propagation, which was intriguing and differentiates you quite a bit. Tell me about that.
So another one of our value props is to be a world-class nursery. To be a world-class nursery, it's no secret. You've got to have high-quality breeders with breeding experience, but you've also got to have the good quality cultivars. In January this year, we acquired our Chief Operating Officer's genetic library, 120 of them, connoisseur cultivars. Won a number of awards. You're talking about the top 40 seed banks of all time, Seed Bank Hall of Fame, etc. Validating that world-class nursery statement for us was doing that partnership with Intrexon, a NASDAQ-listed company, a few billion market cap. And utilising their Botticelli technology to look at how we can create a plantlet or a clone technology that says that clone or plantlet will be consistent all the way through in terms of its genetic profile, but also disease, pathogen, pesticide free. We get that right. Any cultivating environment then gives yourself a better chance of being successful. We all know that it's no secret that a lot of companies have started to realise that growing cannabis isn't as easy as growing a tomato farm.
Sure.
So, that gives us a really good potential plantlet, product to sell to other LPs.
Right. How do you see your revenue scaling 12 months, 24 months out?
So August to August is really what we're looking at from a revenue standpoint. Right now, we're looking at about $30 million in revenue in the first August to August period, which is, we're going to be aggressive on for sure. Things can go wrong in this business, as we've all learnt over the last 4 or 5 years. We're not oblivious to that, but because we have that brand product recognition in what we're rolling out right now, the 8 brands, 45 products, and the demand of what these dispensaries are asking for, we're bullish on that number.
Cool. All right, Lee, that's a great introduction. We'll leave it there for you now. We'll come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
If you're enjoying the show, subscribe to Midas Letter on YouTube so you stay up to date on everything investment. Yeah, and don't forget to hit that little bell in the upper right corner. You see that little bell icon in the upper right of your YouTube? Hit that sucker, and you'll see us every time we do a show. Thursday, we're doing our show live from Bruce Linton's backyard. I kid you not, that is happening. And so that'll be from a secret location just outside of Ottawa, Ontario. You should tune in for that because that's going to be really interesting. Then we're going to use that event to kick off our CEO in the Backyard series. Once a week for the rest of the summer, we'll be coming to you live from some CEO's backyard in the cannabis space. And that's going to be... it's going to be different because the CEO will not be in his presentation mode in his suit in our studio. He'll be relaxing in his backyard in his flip-flops, probably cranking a beer, and maybe we're going to sample some of the local output, although I doubt that.
I think of it as a road trip.
So did you hear that guy went over the falls without a barrel?
Apparently he was in a state of crisis.
Before or after he went into the water?
Both.
Both. A little bit more so afterwards.
Different crisis.
But apparently they found him sitting on the shore at the bottom of the falls with no life-threatening injuries. So
what's the big deal?
So, well, my question is, why go over the falls in a barrel when obviously you can do it without the barrel? You going to go over the falls in a barrel? I think we could build a barrel.
Would you do a wooden barrel that could maybe explode on impact?
No.
Metal barrel.
Well, I'd do a very high-tech carbon fiber neoprene barrel.
Yeah.
No, I'd fill it up with
rubber.
Those little plastic liquid beads. Rubber. Yeah. It's like, have I landed yet? Am I in the water?
Am I bouncing?
Did I go over the falls? No, that's just it. For it to be a thrill, I think it would be better to do it without a barrel. And plus, you give the falls more of a shot at doing some serious damage to you. But some people still going over the falls without a barrel now. Let's see what else is going on in the world news that we could talk about today. There was an article in Yahoo Canada Finance that said that millennial couples, here's how you can build a $5 million TFSA, tax-free savings account. And we felt that was a little bit worthy of comment because if you build a tax-free savings account into $5 million, it's going to be very difficult to convince CRA, the taxman, that you are not a professional trader, and they are going to deem your account taxable. So you will have done it all for naught. So that's not a good idea to target a $5 million TFSA, contrary to what the Motley Fool is telling you. Don't do it. It won't happen.
Except if you could buy one thing and just hold it.
If you bought something and held it and it qualified as a TFSA eligible investment, then
they're not going to. It's when you trade actively. That's what they're. That's
no.
what.
Not only, no.
I think so. No, I'm going to stick with my view.
Anyways,
my glasses. Oh, never mind. The what? We should look at the chart, the gold chart, because we talk about gold chart. Okay.
Let's take a look at that.
Oh, it's up.
Gold is up?
Gold. The chart is up.
Oh.
Let's take a look. Okay, right. There it is. Okay.
Wow. Looks like it's kind of stopped. It's settled at a new level. That's for sure.
Well, let's take a look at a 2-year. Let's go to 5.
Why do we care about 5 years?
Well, only because I want to point out I want to point out the fact that it has broken out of a pattern, a major breakout, and we can re-examine here, but okay. So look, top, sort of in there, and now we broke through there. Now we're above that line. There's a line that goes back. I think it's about a 6-year high. And as long as we stay above here without breaking down, we're probably getting ready for another move to the upside. Now, if it does break that line and goes back, all bets are off.
All bets are off.
But gold, you know, even though it's off $30 or so from the high, it's still up, you know, almost $100 from where it was. In other words, here versus here. It's about a $100 move.
Wow.
Anyway, so there you go. So gold looks interesting. Somebody just sent me some, these are just rumors, and I'm not going to say who sent them or anything, but that there's some potential takeout candidates in the gold industry by Kirkland.
Oh, yeah.
The big company.
Bonterra.
Bonterra, and another one was mentioned was Cisco. Always considered a good
Cisco
company.
is going to be the takeout?
No. Kirkland Lake's going to take out either
Cisco? Boy, that'll be interesting.
Bonterra or a Cisco.
Huh.
Well, it's, you know, I mean, if gold's moving up, you're going to start to see activity.
Yeah. Wow.
So there you go.
There you go.
Interest rates are staying low.
That's a good thing. Really not a lot going on in the news universe today. Like, it's quiet out there. Do you think everybody's enjoying an extended summer vacation?
Well, it could be. You know, you may have touched upon this in the previous show, but we could be in the summer doldrums.
Previous episode?
Well, previous first half of the show.
Oh, that's
No,
true.
look. Hey, how long is Wayland going to stay halted for?
Well, that's $1 million question. Nobody knows how long Wayland's going to stay halted for. I guess till they file financials that are up to date.
Yeah.
That's the general consensus.
Right.
Something's happened to my computer and I can't get around it anymore.
Wade MD 151. Afria there is now up 887. So mixed bag today. Mixed bag. ACB down 9 cents. Interesting. Wonder how the MLTO's doing here. I haven't looked at that for 5 minutes.
Did you hear that Jay-Z is partnering with a cannabis company?
Which one? We don't know.
No, we know. He's partnered up with Caliva, Caliva. Chief brand strategist in partnership with Caliva, based in California. His role would consist of driving creative direction, outreach efforts, and strategy for the brand. That's probably a pretty good guy to have as your brand partner, eh? Jay-Z?
No kidding. What?
Teenagers have turned out are less likely to take cannabis in states where it's legal, according to a recent study.
So if it's legal, they won't take it. But if it's illegal, they'll take it.
I guess.
Isn't that something?
Does that make sense to you?
Well, I guess if robbing banks were legal, people probably would stop robbing banks.
That's probably a good point. Did you hear that Green Growth Brands has announced that they're going to purchase Moxie for $310 million?
What the heck's Moxie?
Moxie, MXY Holdings, commonly known as Moxie. It's a new one on me.
Is that like an epoxy?
And Moxie the epoxy? I don't know. It says that Moxie is a well-known company in the industry.
Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Come on. Private?
No idea. Like I said, I've never heard of it before today.
Is there a ticker? They give a ticker?
No, it's a private company.
Like
the new ticker is GGB.
And it's private.
It's private for $310 million.
So,
boy, it must be really well known. We've never heard of it.
And how do you know what it's worth?
Well, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. It's obviously worth $310 million.
Was there any people common to both sides of the transaction?
Well, we don't know that. We'll let the
regulators.
Let the muckraker. No, the regulators are always the last ones in on the story.
Yeah, they only come in there when the shareholders aren't happy.
But it's the muckrakers who will, who will find something. If there's something wrong to be found with the deal in terms of like undisclosed relationships among insiders or principals, they'll find it.
They will, eh?
Well, they always do. You know, because a lot of these guys have nothing. They actually spend all the time researching every document and every link that every document links to, and you know, there's a lot of people spending a lot of time deep diving. Now, is this green growth brands mean? Is it change in the weather for green growth brands? We'll see about that. But let's see. The transaction will be satisfied through the issuance of common shares of GGB and exchangeable limited partnership units in GGB LP as well. Okay, so it's a bit of an arcane transaction. We'll figure out what that actually means, but it looks like GGB's going to be subject to some lockup agreements, as will Moxie shareholders.
What's the market cap of GGB right now? Do we know that?
That's a good question. Let's go take a look, Edward. What do you say?
What do I say?
What do you see?
I say? I say GGB. Enter. Now everything is going back to the U.S. Okay, so it does trade. This one trades in the U.S., right? No?
It does, but not under GGB.
Okay, :
CNX in Canada.
Is it CNX in Canada?
Yeah. So green growth brands trading at
314.
314. And how many shares out on the company?
Yeah, this is interesting here. This is very, very interesting. Wow. Now, when was that announced? Was that announced today?
Yeah, moments ago.
The stock was down to 270. Now it's up to almost 315. Yeah, I got to tell you, like a lot of these things look like
Death warmed over.
Yeah.
There's been no volume whatsoever in green growth brands for quite a while now.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, oh, sorry, this is the intraday look. Let's see here. Let's go at 1 year. So since, when was that? Back in January when they were going to do the deal with the Freya, which didn't go through. Still lots to come from that. I can't wait to hear what the real story was there. But then it's just drifted lower. It's drifted from, well, the $5 range down to the $3 range. It's touched a low of 266 back in, well, 273 back on
in June
27th.
Yeah.
And this has added 15 cents so far.
Yeah, look, we're not seeing crazy volume, but we did see it with the MLTO, didn't we?
Yeah.
That gave us action, big action.
Anyway, so some of the big movers in the TSX Venture today were Martello, traded 43 plus million shares, now at 63 cents, Edward, just prior to the close. Dynacert traded up 13 cents to 41 cents.
That stock was well over $2 for the longest time.
Yeah. But not a lot of, here's the interesting thing, not a lot of cannabis companies making the top trades in terms of volume. Namaste traded 2.4 million shares, lost a penny to 53. Let's take a look at the TSX and see what the major traders are there. Well, Cantress leads the trading on the TSX, now down to 471. Boy, oh boy. Followed by Encana, oil, that's a gas company, at $6.34. Baytex Enterprises. Baytex is a mining, or is that energy company? Baytex is energy. First Quantum, mining company. New Vista Enterprises, don't know what they do. Barrick Gold company. Like really, the cannabis companies are no longer dominating the trades in the Canadian exchanges. Is that meaningful or just symptomatic of the summer doldrums that we find ourselves in?
You know what? Look, bubbles only, I mean, when things get hot, they get overdone. And I think some of that overheating is now being undone. You know, where is it going to go? Listen, there's going to be survivors. There's going to be big winners.
Yeah. Okay, well, so don't forget to touch that bell in your upper right of the screen if you want to see whenever we're online. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter at MidasLetter.com. And thank you to our subscriber, Halo Labs at halocana.com. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.